So after the John Wick franchise, which is not done yet, and Deadpool 2, the filmmakers of those decided to make a movie based on the Japanese novel that was released in 2010 called Maria Beetle. A film that's in question is Bullet Train, a name that kind of lives up to it. What's up, guys, and welcome to my Bullet Train review. Thank you so much for clicking on this. I really do appreciate it. Bullet Train follows the story of several deadly assassins with connected yet conflicting objectives on the world's most fastest train. Now, this was a film that I was anticipating. It was something I was excited about. I mean, John Wick and Deadpool 2, the filmmakers behind those, David Leitch, he directed this movie, so in the back of my mind, I was thinking, oh, hell yeah. Sign me up. Take my money. So I was sold. Yeah, I know that's a little premature on my part. Still, I don't care. Assassins killing each other on a train, on the fastest train ever, and dispatching each other and shoot 'em ups. Again, take my money. Take it like a stripper. But was it really worth it? Did it live up? Was it the greatest thing ever? Let's start out with the positives of Bullet Train. First and foremost, I gotta say, the story was pretty compelling. I swear, the whole time I was watching this could have very easily been a Speed movie. You know, we had Speed 1 with Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock, and then we got Speed 2, Cruise Control. This could have easily been either a Speed 3 or the plot for Speed 2 if they had their heads on right back then in 97. I swear, this was a perfect antidote for a Speed movie. And it would have served it better if they'd have made it like this for Speed 2 Cruise Control. I mean, it did have Sandra Bullock in it, but to each his own. But it's a bunch of assassins dispatching each other and shooting at each other and making shit explode. I mean, again, sign me up. I'm always down for a movie like that. I mean, it's basically a winner, a chicken dinner. That's all I gotta say. I'm gonna harp on this a little bit more, so bear with me. This very could have easily been a plot device for Speed 3, or another Speed movie, or a Speed requel, Speed remake. It doesn't matter. Just throw Keanu Reeves in there and just, have at it. Of course, if they throw Keanu Reeves in there, it would be a sequel, but still, it was a perfect antidote. But getting back to the basics, for Bullet Train, for the plot itself, it was very compelling. Again, it's just a bunch of these assassins that has this one specific goal, but they're so conflicted that they just kill each other. And it's just, what else do you want? What more do you want in an action flick? Again, if Speed 2 Sleep Control was handled a little better, it very easily could have been this. Just saying, moving on. And the action wasn't all that bad. It didn't disappoint, but there's one aspect of it that I'll get into later that's not that good, but the action, for the most part, was pretty satisfying. It did, for the most part, jilt your action high needs on a certain level. You get plenty here. You get shoot 'em ups. You get, trains crashing into each other and explosions. And, of course, shoot 'em ups equals gore. This is R-rated, so they hold nothing back, as you would want to expect. Thank God they didn't rate this PG-13. It's what I come to expect, and it's very, very satisfactory. It merits all of my attention. Brad Pitt was pretty good. He's one of those actors that doesn't really come across my roster as much. I mean, he was in a few months ago in La Lost City, but he was pretty cool in this. He plays a guy named Ladybug, this conflicted, and as he describes himself, as unlucky assassin that's trying to get this job done, and he's trying to put his past aside. He's trying to put all this other stuff aside. He's kind of become a pacifist in a way, and He doesn't want to use guns anymore and this and that, and that kind of conflicts with everything, of course, that goes on in this movie. People trying to kill him and just very conflicting for him, but the way he played it off was pretty good. And this was kind of funny. He has this thing to where when somebody dies, if like whenever he kills somebody by accident or whatever you want to call it, he props them up. He displays them. And he wipes up all the blood and all this and that. And he just makes it look like they're asleep. He sits them up on a chair and puts their head down, makes them look like they're asleep, puts glasses on them, and it was kind of funny. That was kind of hilarious. I couldn't help but chuckle at those parts. But again, he's just one of those that just couldn't catch a break. He's wanting to get this job done, yet everybody's trying to kill him. It's kind of like a John Wick scenario in a way, but it's just in this confined area and on this fast train, on the fastest train in the world. And he wants to get off the train, but things keeps on getting in the way and just conflicts him from staying on. It's like his own little personal curse. And he played it off pretty well. And you got the other characters like Brian Tyree Henry, who was in last year's Godzilla vs. Kong and Eternals. And he plays one of those characters where I'm noticing a trend, like with most actors, he plays this serious, yet he knows how to be funny at the same time. He does these little funny quips here and there, but yet he always has a serious face. And I think that's very talented. That's something hard to pull off, I would imagine. And for an actor, that's pretty good. And I've always respected him for that, and I've always liked his style and brand of comedy mixed in with his seriousness. It's like he's got a serious cop face, but every word he comes out from his mouth is a joke, but he pulls it off pretty well. Of course, he plays a guy named Lemon, who's also another assassin who has his own conflicted things of his own, and he's got this thing with Thomas the Train where he carries around these stickers, which kind of made sense because of where he was at. And you got this character named the Elder. I'm not going to pronounce this guy's first name because I will butcher it, but his last name is Sedana. And he was pretty cool. I like him whenever I see him on screen. He's the guy that played Scorpion in last year's Mortal Kombat, and last year also in Army of the Dead, which he didn't have a big part in those, but when he showed up in those, as well as this, I was cheering. I like that dude. I like him. He's like the one character in this that showed wisdom. He was one of those characters that came from a very tragic background that involved the main villain in this, which I won't get into, but it's pretty tragic, and that's what gave this character plenty of motive, and it worked. It really stuck. The look and feel of this movie was done really well. It was shot perfectly. It wasn't as much drone shots, so I'm not going to compare this one to Michael Bay like I have with the last few videos, but it was done really well. There was a couple of drone shots, but that's about it. It looked great, it was colored great, and it made for a good pacing. There wasn't really a moment in this movie where I felt bored, yet there was conflicting emotions that I did have throughout this. But for the most part, the pacing was fine. The pacing was good, still in the positives, the pacing was good. It had me hooked. Yet, the only two things that drags this movie down to the negatives is the style. As good as I like the action, I'm trying not to sound hypocritical here, but as good as I liked the action, as good as the action scenes played out, it lacked that style. And here I go again, comparing it to John Wick, and rightfully so because these are pretty much the same filmmakers. And this is what kind of gave me hope and disappointed at the same time, but it just lacked that certain style that John Wick had, with the fight positions. And maybe this is just all on Keanu Reeves because that's how badass he is, that's how good he is in those films. With Bullet Train, it just seemed like it lacked that certain sense of style and kosher that everything John Wick was, if you get what I'm saying. I'm not downing the action completely, but I felt like there needed to be more style to it, more slickness is all. I know this is a different movie, but it's the same filmmakers, and it involves assassins as well. So maybe that's my fault. I was just giving it a little bit too much credit. I was expecting too much. It is what it is. It just lacked that zest for me, that spice. And for my final negative, the jokes, other than Brian Tyree Henry on how he handled himself and the whole Brad Pitt positioning these dead bodies thing, those were about the only funny things I found in this. But everything else just felt forced. It felt forced. I couldn't really get into it. I could tell that they were trying, if I was to give some sort of positive spin to this, but I couldn't get into it. The comedy just felt like it kind of lacked, and it just kind of drug it down just a tad. But all in all, guys, I did have a good time with Bullet Train. It was one of those that's, yeah, was it the greatest thing I've ever seen? Does it triumph over John Wick? Hell no. But it's good enough. It's good for you to turn on and just enjoy for the most part. And just have a fun time with it. For a film about assassins dispatching each other on the fastest train in the world, it really is a fun ride. It's a happy accident. So, Bullet Train, what was your thoughts on it? Have you seen it yet? Were you a fan? Did you find this enjoyable at all? Did you think that it hit your action high just the right amount? Or was this not for you? Is this something that you found just a complete train wreck? Leave your comment down below and give me your thoughts. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. As always, like, subscribe, comment, and share. Click that bell icon so you don't miss a thing. And I will see you on the next one. Peace.